boy Hennythemoor reporting live from the liquor store. How's everybody doing, man? So, hey, it's almost time for the weekend, man. So you know damn well it's time to go ahead and make you a liquor store run. So either you want brown, clear, you know, Bud Light, Eagles Tears, it don't matter. It's on deck. We got it in stock in the liquor store. So come on in, get your hen, whatever you like the drink to make you sin, and we're gonna talk about the Cowboy content, man. We're gonna get drunk together. So, man, we're gonna do a little bit of contract talk, man. You know, we're still feeling the little after effects of the Jalen Hurts contract. As y'all do know, he reset the market for every player, really, but he definitely reset the market for quarterbacks. We're gonna talk about Dak Prescott's upcoming extension, what that might look like. We're gonna talk about the Dallas Cowboys and their, infatuation with some of these quarterbacks that they've been talking about, and we're also gonna talk about, you know the possibility of trading for a quarterback, a young quarterback to maybe come in here and compete for that backup role and maybe the future job, depending on how they view Dak Prescott. So this is a bunch of things to unpack. And really, this is a continuation of the conversation that I had, on air with West Coast and Landlord from Alabama earlier. We sort of touched on a couple of these topics earlier when we did our joint show. So I just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit further, money-wise, how the stuff look in the market and everything. So we're going to go into a deep dive about it. And, but before I get too far ahead of myself, man, everybody, please go ahead and hit the like button, hit the share button, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers to the channel. It's been a long, hard road up to this point, but y'all been supporting me. Y'all been helping the channel strive. We done reached 729 people so far. So, we only need like 271 more people to tap in to get to that 1,000 subscriber mark. So if y'all can show some love, man, hey, no, I appreciate you because that's a damn good idea, man. Hey, William, what's up with you, man? Appreciate you tapping in and showing love to the channel, my guy. Thank you for the support. So yeah, we're gonna jump into that, man. Also, for everybody that wants to join in the raffle, we're doing a $5 raffle. And if the winner of the raffle will get a Dallas Cowboy jersey of the winner's choice. And we're gonna be doing this up until the 25th. We've been doing it for a majority of the month. The cutoff is gonna be on the 25th. I will randomly draw a winner on the 25th, and whoever wins will get whatever Dallas Cowboy jersey they want. All they got to do is tell me the player they want, the size, and of course, give me your mailing address so I can get that out to you. And all you got to do for a raffle entry is send $5 to $Hennythemoor if that interests you. So now with that out the way, man, let's just talk about the entire quarterback market, where Dak Prescott fits into the scheme of things, and what are the Dallas Cowboys options? Because really, I like to reference mafia movies all the time, man. I love Goodfellas. I love Casino. I used to love watching The Sopranos. And, Dak Prescott in Dallas is a made man. He is a made man. Like, he has all the power when it comes to these contract negotiations with the Dallas Cowboys right now. Hey, Brian Kite, I see you. Jameson Taylor, Desmond Ironman, even my boy Eastside Hero. I appreciate y'all for tapping in. But, yeah, man, Dak Prescott is a made man in Dallas. I'm going to show you why, because of the way his contract is set up. As you all know, when Dak Prescott got his contract, he included a no trade clause within his contract. So that means that any trade that Dak Prescott is a part of, he can veto it. So if he does not want to get traded, he can just say, nah, I'm good on that, and nothing can happen. Right? So there's no way to actually trade away Dak Prescott because he has that no trade clause within his contract. Regina Green, what's good with you? I appreciate you for coming over to the liquor store. Hey, y'all remember, man, if you slap the shit out of an Eagles fan, you will get half off all items in the store. So I please need you to go ahead and use your discount while supplies last. So, use it expeditiously, as T.I. like to say. So, yeah, I'm actually going to just show you his contract right now. So just to put some of this stuff into perspective, when people are talking about moving on from Dak Prescott, this, that, and the third, it's not really mathematically possible to get rid of Dak Prescott. And I'm going to show you why. Hey, what's up with you, Jameson? So y'all should be seeing what I'm seeing very shortly. I'm bringing up Dak Prescott's entire contract breakdown, and here we go. So these are the actual cap numbers for Dak Prescott, for the remaining of his years. So as you do know, Dak Prescott has a cap hit of $26.8 million this year, which is not bad by any stretch of the imaginations. But that was achieved by actually restructuring his contract. So they moved a lot of that money right here, right? And because they restructured him this year to save money, his cap hit next year, which will be the final year of his deal, is going to be $59.4 million. As you see, there is more money that will be owed here, but this is actually a voided year. This is used for cap purposes. So, they added the voided years on the back end of the contract so it can help them move around some of the cap hits. He's not actually going to be here. These are just for tax purposes because this is the final year of his deal right here in 2024. So with that said, we already know that he cannot be traded. But let's see what happens if you cut Dak Prescott. Well, if you cut him before June the 1st, you're going to have a lot of dead money. You'll have $61.9 million in dead money the first year. You'll have $36 million in dead money the year after. And even 2 years after you cutting Dak Prescott, you will have another $11 million worth of dead money against your cap. So it's very pricey to try and get rid of Dak Prescott. He said, Stephen Harrison said, "What's up? What's up with you, man?" Brian Kite, my boy. He said, "I believe we were going to tag and trade Diggs. He wasn't Quinn's draft pick. I believe he was not Quinn's draft pick, but I definitely think that I definitely don't even think that Trayvon Diggs is going to allow that to happen. I think Trayvon Diggs holds out this offseason to avoid the tag. I think Trayvon Diggs is going to be one of the guys to force the Dallas Cowboys' hand. And I will go in more detail on that after I break this down. But the way his money is set up, it makes no sense for him to play because he is a guy that's coming up for $100 million contract, and he's only going to make about $4 million this year if he hits all his incentives. So he could risk playing for $4 million, getting hurt, and losing out on the opportunity to get $100 million, or he could just sit his ass at home. So I think he would rather take the risk of losing out on the $4 million than losing out on the $100 million. But yeah, but back to to Dak, and then we'll deep dive on some of the other stuff in a little bit. Once I get through this rant about the quarterbacks, I'll take time out of the show to talk to you about Trayvon Diggs a little bit more in depth. All right, so that's if you cut him pre-June the 1st. If you designate him as a post-June cut, that is still a lot of dead money, bro. Because there's $25 million in dead money right here. Booyah. 25.4. Another 25.4 in dead money. There's going to be another $11 million in dead money they can't do anything about. So even if you wait to cut Dak Prescott, the most it's going to be it's going to be about $61 million in dead money. Hey, shout out to my boy Justin for the $10 donation that got you 2 extra entries into the raffle. So salute to you, brother. And let me get this updated real quick. Because I like keeping track, make sure everybody got everything they need. All right, cool. So you got 2. Salute to you, brother. All right, so even best case scenario, if you cut Dak Prescott, afterwards, if you cut Dak Prescott afterwards, like they did Zeke, like they designated Zeke as a post June the 2nd cut. Hey, what's up with your Michael Lockhart? What's up with your Chill Bill? Justin Kitchen, what's good with you? So yeah, you're stuck. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not. And listen, $61 million is going to be the money you owe Dak Prescott still. So you're going to pay Dak Prescott $61 million not to be on your team, and you're still going to need to find a quarterback. And that's $61 million. And this is pretty much the most important thing, right? Next year, right? CeeDee Lamb is going to be an unrestricted free agent. I mean, no, Trayvon Diggs is going to be an unrestricted free agent. CeeDee Lamb is going to be on his 5th-year option, needing an extension, and then Micah Parsons is going to become eligible for an extension. So next year is going to be the first year that Micah Parsons can get an extension. Trayvon Diggs is going to be an unrestricted free agent if you don't get an extension done this offseason. And then, CeeDee Lamb will be on his 5th-year option. So there's going to be one guy that's going to be a full unrestricted free agent. There's going to be another guy who only have a year left, and then Micah Parsons will be eligible. If you mishandle this, there's a realistic opportunity, that you lose not only Dak Prescott if you mishandle this in the following year, but you could also lose, at least 2 of those guys. Because you won't have the necessary cap to do anything. So you might just outright lose Trayvon Diggs, because he's gonna be an unrestricted free agent. That cap hit is gonna be $59.4 million. So that's the possibility of that happening. The saving grace, though, the thing that makes the most sense in the world is to extend Dak Prescott. Because let me show you. And these numbers are not always the most accurate, but this is about the roundabout, ballpark of these estimates. Because when me and Landlord did a show, we were playing GM. These numbers were damn near spot on for a majority of them. If you extend Dak Prescott, you will save $26 million against the cap. So instead of him costing you, and you listen, I think you can actually save a little bit more depending on how you structure the deal. But an extension saves you at least, I think on the low end about $26.2 million. Meaning instead of him costing you 59.4, he's going to cost you 33.2. And because we believe he is a top 10 quarterback, there's other guys who will have cap hits way higher. That is a great deal. There's a discount. You run to the bank for that. Yes, if the Dallas Cowboys play hardball when they don't have to, as they have the tendency to do before, it can get ugly. It can get ugly real quick. Yes, and listen, by extending Dak Prescott, you'll have money to pay Trayvon Diggs, you'll have money to pay CeeDee Lamb, and you'll have money to pay Micah Parsons too. Like, you will have all the money you need just by making that one move. Right? You'll save $26 million, probably more, against the cap. Right? You can move most of his cap hit on a different year, matter of fact. So, like, here, you might be able to save more. Depending on how they finesse the cap, you could say 26.2, you could say 30, you could say 40. It just depends on how they manipulate the cap hits on his contract. So you save a lot of money by getting an extension done with Dak Prescott as soon as humanly possible. Hopefully by then the cap is $40 million more, so you don't have to extend Dak, give Dak 2 years to win. It really just depends on how you view Dak Prescott. Like, I really do like Dak Prescott. I think he is a good enough quarterback to win with. I think he's a top 10 quarterback. And this is also the thing, because you can't wait for the 2 years to be over before you make the decision on Dak Prescott. You need to know after this year you want to keep Dak Prescott. Because regardless if we win the Super Bowl or not, or even if Dak Prescott doesn't play good, he's going to have the $59.4 million hit. Right? If the world ends, if Jesus come back, if aliens invade, New York City, if Mole Man pop up in Antarctica or something crazy, it doesn't matter. Dak Prescott's going to make $59.4 million next year. And the only way to get out from underneath that is to give him an extension. I went through the cap hits on if you cut him. We already know you can't trade him. And even if you wanted to try and bring him back, you already try and try to tag him. You already tagged him 2 times. So, the penalty for tagging a player a third time is a 44% increase on his contract. and that would mean him making damn this $70 million. Yeah, and listen, I don't think anybody can really do it with average players. Because when you look at the two teams that were playing in the Super Bowl, you know, um, Juju Smith-Schuster, even though he fell off, he was a former All Pro. Travis Kelsey was the best tight end in the National Football League. You know, he had one of the best offensive lines in the National Football League. You know, even on the defensive side of the ball, they had one of the best run defenses. And then you look at Philadelphia, you know, had good tight ends. They got some of the best wide receivers. AJ Brown, you know, was an All Pro selection, makes second team All Pro with CD Lamb. Devontae Smith, a former Heisman player. You know, Dallas Goedert is one of the better tight ends. Miles Sanders was a Pro Bowl running back. So, you know, the teams that go far, right, like the 49ers too, like multiple All Pros, they are always loaded. So, you know, I don't think, you know, anybody outside of I don't think anybody outside of Tom Brady was really winning, you know, championships without a loaded roster. Yeah, listen, when I say that, I'm not even just counting just the skill positions, because you know they went out and spent a lot of money for their offensive line. So like they have like a top two or three offensive line. You know, say they got one of the best play callers. So yeah, you said I live in Georgia. Yeah, they had a bunch of great tools, and then they even went out the way and added what's the boy from the Giants? You know, that was a former first round pick. But yeah, they went out there and they replaced. You know, they went out there and they replaced. No, Brady was actually the highest paid player his first contract. His first contract, Tom Brady was the highest paid player in NFL history. He did not start taking discounts until his later stage of his career. And because of the way the NFL Player Association is set up, you know, teams usually frown on players taking too many discounts. Because at the end of the day, the NFL is a business. You know, they will let some of the older players get away with taking discounts, but the union that the players play for, they generally want them to reset the market so the next guy can also reset the market. So yes, Tom Brady is an anomaly. So and even on his first contract, he reset the quarterback market. But you know, the beautiful thing about it, we know for a fact that the Dallas Cowboys have a way out. You can extend Dak Prescott, and this is the beautiful thing about it, because if Dak Prescott plays the way that everybody wants him to play this year, I know everybody wants Dak Prescott to be successful because he plays for our team. I know everybody wants Dak Prescott to have a good regular season, to have a good postseason in this new offense. Maybe get to an NFC Championship game. Hopefully, win the Super Bowl, which is the grand scheme of things. So if he puts up the production that we expect him to put up, right? Because he has a good roster of talent this year. He has CD Lamb. He has Brandon Cooks. He should have a healthy Michael Gallup. He'll probably have a top 100 pick at a skill position like a tight end or a wide receiver. Like Tony Pollard should be back. So he should have a good assortment of weapons. You know, hopefully the line plays better. So if Dak Prescott goes out there and balls, right? If he goes out there and balls, then you know, like he's definitely worth the contract. And on the second note of that, even if he doesn't go out there and ball, but the team still has success with Dak Prescott under the helm, you know, like you probably still have to extend them. It's a sticky situation when you don't have options, right? On one hand, I do expect Dak Prescott to have a great season. I don't expect him to have a fall off. You know, like I always spat out the numbers behind his production. I usually tell you about how he's top 10 all time in completion percentage, passer rating, and touchdown to interception ratio, top 25 in win percentage. I usually spout those numbers out. So I expect him to get back into form and to win double digit games, put up good numbers and all the stuff he usually does. So I do expect that to happen. And even if he doesn't, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily see a way of, you know, not paying Dak Prescott either. Our problem is getting comfortable with our guys. The way we flipped over roster will slow down, but we have to Yeah. Now listen, everybody resets the market the first time. You know, that's a given. Like everybody resets the market. NFL Player Association Union makes it hard for teams to keep their players locked up for the future. Yeah, it does. You know, from a team perspective, like, you know, it's not always good for the team, but it's always good for the players to have representation. I mean, yeah, like you could say he's on the hot seat, but you know, like I said, you know, I like using these mob movies analogies. Like Dak Prescott can't get whacked. Like you got to have a sit down before you touch Dak Prescott. Like Dak Prescott is up there. Like if Jerry Jones is the done, you know, if he's at the top, he's the done. He's head honcho, and then Mike McCarthy's the underboss. They like shit. Like Dak Prescott is probably one of the highest ranked capos in Dallas. You know, you can't just go and whack a captain. You know what I'm talking about? So it's a sticky situation with the way the contract is set up. So if you believe in Dak Prescott, which I do, I'm a firm believer in Dak Prescott and his ability. Like, you know, you go ahead and give him the extension. If you don't believe in Dak Prescott, but you believe in Michael Parsons, you believe in CeeDee Lamb, you believe in Trayvon Diggs, you still give him the extension. Because that way it ensures you can re-sign those players. But let's say the Dallas Cowboys play hardball. Let's say they don't want to give Dak Prescott a contract. Well, you need leverage. You need leverage in a contract negotiation. Not necessarily meaning doing this will give them real leverage, but at least they will have something to hold on to. And the way that you get leverage is by getting another player. So, you know, that is why the Dallas Cowboys have looked at so many quarterbacks. You know, that's why they were very fond of Hendon Hooker. You know, if y'all did not know, I did a show maybe like a couple of weeks back. You know, they had a Zoom call with Hendon Hooker. You know, Hendon Hooker is a guy who I think if he was fully healthy, he would probably be like the third quarterback off the board. But, you know, he's 25. He tore his ACL. So, you know, some people have him sliding into the second round. So, you know, there's a possibility that with the second pick, yeah, very critical season for Dak. You know, you got to prove some doubters wrong, right? I think he's up to the challenge. You know, I think he will have a good season. And, you know, historically, the numbers back Dak Prescott playing well enough for us to win most of the games. Like, and what's crazy, though, I did a breakdown, man. I compared his numbers to when he plays everybody else in the postseason to compared to when he plays the 49ers. And it's night and day. Because, honestly, his numbers against everybody else are damn near Hall of Fame numbers in the postseason. 91 of 136, a 67 completion percentage, averaging 274.7 yards per game. He has a passer rating of 107.3, 9 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns, and only 2 interceptions. So in the 4 games against playoff teams that were not named the 49ers, he put up MVP numbers, right? You saw him go toe-to-toe with Aaron Rodgers as a rookie. You saw him beat Russell Wilson. You saw him beat Tom Brady. You saw him play well enough against the Rams to win. Just the defense got ran off the field by giving up 269 yards on the ground. So in the 4 other playoff games that Dak Prescott played in, he played well enough for you to win all 4 of them. We didn't necessarily win them, right? Other things happened. He scored 31 points against Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers scored 34. You know, assisted by a 3rd and 20 conversion, right, to Jared Cook along the sideline. I know we all remember that heartbreaker, right? Dak Prescott, you know, played very well against the Rams, but we got ran off the field. So his other 4 playoff games, he played well enough to win. Played great, actually. You look at the numbers. The 2 games against the 49ers, though, were horrible. 46 of 80 for a 57.5 completion percentage, 230 yards per game, 5.8 yards per attempt, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 1 rushing touchdown, and a passer rating of 66.7. So when you look at the night and day difference, he puts up Hall of Fame numbers against everybody else: Green Bay, Russell Wilson and the Seahawks, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, the Rams. He had a good game. But when you look at the 49ers, that's the one team that that he has not been statistically good against. And that's really part of the scheme too. Like West Coast pointed out, like he used to point out, you can't beat a team like the 49ers that are great tackling in open space. They have a great front seven running a bunch of comeback routes and hitches and stop routes, right? That's why they're able to get underneath those passes. That's why they're able to keep the yak down. That's why they're able to stuff the box and negate the run still. So I think schematically we'll have a better chance of beating the 49ers this year. We play them in the regular season. We're moving to a more traditional West Coast offense. We're going to rely more heavily on the run game. So I do believe that Dak Prescott will play good enough to get us over the hump. He's played good in the postseason, except for against the 49ers. So really, if we can find the hidden key, to getting over the 49ers, I think Dak Prescott would play good enough in every other game to do so. And at some point, some of this has to be coaching. You can't see Dak Prescott score 5 touchdowns and have the best postseason game in franchise history, and then turn around and play like that against the 49ers and not question the coaching on that. Some of the play decisions, some of the schematic decisions. Henny, do you believe in Pollard after the injury? Me personally, I don't. Well, I have no other choice but to believe in him at this point in time. He's the best running back on the roster right now. He should be healthy to start the season, and the key word is should. But we'll just have to see. And I think he can get back to form. Yes. Yeah, he broke a fibula. He should be fine. Keyword is should. Shit, Terrence Steele was a huge loss for us. Yes, especially with the way that the run game, lost traction. At the end of the season, the running backs were averaging about 2.5 yards an attempt, and that was both Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard. He was a huge loss. He was one of the best run blocking right tackles in the National Football League, and you can clearly see a dip in the game that he got injured in every other game that we played afterwards. Big Dal said he should be straight. I believe it. But I've never broken a bone, so I wouldn't know. I broke in my leg. I had a horrible car accident. My leg got turned all the way around the other direction. So I have multiple pins and rods in my leg at this point. But I came back. I after a couple months healing, a lot of pain pills. Like I got back to playing basketball on the blacktop, running, doing different things. So, and just to compare, like I broken my leg and I torn my ACL. I believe my ACL injuries were harder to come back from than my broken leg. Just from my personal experience. But yeah, so Dallas Cowboys, were looking. Fish said he reported he signed his contract but didn't give any details. Who signed his contract? I know Tony Pollard signed his tender. I know he signed his franchise tender. But back to what I was saying about the quarterback. So they were looking at Hendon Hooker, a guy they like a lot. I like Hendon Hooker too. And he would be a guy that would be Dak Prescott's backup for at least the next 2 seasons. We know with the amount of money that Dak Prescott is making, he's not going to sit on the bench. Let's be honest. When Jerry Jones pays somebody, he expects them to play. And as a raw rookie, you can't expect him to give you a better chance than your 10-year veteran. I mean, you're 7-year veteran. I'm tripping. 7-year veteran. But oh yeah, he signed his tender. Good deal. Because we definitely need that boy. We definitely need Terrence Steele. So they went through that scenario, and you will have to use a top pick to get Hendon Hooker still. I don't see him falling to the third round or anything. I think there will be a team that would take a chance on him in the first round. And at the bare minimum, you would have to take him in at the 58 overall pick if Dallas was to get him. So I have two different scenarios. Yeah, I tore the ACLs in both of my legs and both of my knees. Not at the same time, but I tore the left one and I tore the right one. It was not fun. So now we're going to talk about a scenario that Queso52 brought up earlier. I mean, I wouldn't get no quarterback in the first couple of rounds, but I'm not Jerry Jones either. So like I said, the Dallas Cowboys sometimes make roster moves not fully based on football. You saw that happen with Amari Cooper. The best football decision was to keep Amari Cooper and not re-sign an injured Michael Gallup, who was trying to rehabilitate a torn ACL. But that's not what they wanted to do. They did not like that Amari Cooper did not get vaccinated, and so they traded him away for a 5th round pick. They did not make football sense, but it's a move that they made because they let personal stuff get in the way. Now, I can clearly see the possibility of them trying to get a quarterback in like the second round. I don't want them to do it, but I also know there is a possibility. It's been floated around. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So I talk about it. You know what I mean? I don't want them to take a damn quarterback. I don't want them to take a quarterback or a damn tight end. You know what I mean? It said if Dak stand to make $59 million if they don't sign or extend him by the end of next season, why wouldn't the floor be $59 million? See, I would say it like this: because it's a 1-year deal, and Dak Prescott can reset the market in different APYs. Like I can realistically see Dak Prescott getting like $53 million APY, or getting the most, the second most guaranteed money, because I think they gave Hurts 170 something, 180 million guaranteed. I can see Dak Prescott, selling on a deal that gives him like 190 guaranteed, maybe $200 million guaranteed, and letting the cap hit lower. Because remember, an extension still helps the cap. Because you look at the way that Jalen Hurts extension is set up, all 3 of his cap hits the first 3 years of his deal are under $40 million, and then they balloon the next two seasons. So it's still doable. So Dak Prescott might go into a scenario where he just takes a lot of guaranteed money and not let the $59 million stop him. $59 million guaranteed is cool, but $200 million guaranteed over the lifetime of contract is better. You have better security. But yeah, so we're gonna talk about what Queso talked about, man. If Dak Prescott, if they like Hendon Hooker or a different quarterback, even though I don't think they should take one in the first or the second, right? I looked at it like 100 different guys, not literally 100, but I looked at like a dozen different folks in like the 5th and 6th or 7th round the Dallas Cowboys can bring in as backup quarterbacks. I don't really want to put that much draft capital into a guy that's going to ride the bench. But let's say the Dallas Cowboys want to draft a quarterback for leverage. Right, let's say the Dallas Cowboys want to draft a quarterback for leverage. They say they do something stupid. Instead of using the 2nd round pick to get, let's say, Hendon Hooker, how would y'all feel, like Queso said, how would y'all feel about them using the 2nd round pick to bring in Trey Lance to take over the backup position for Cooper Rush and be, a break glass in case of emergency option if Dak Prescott does not get re-signed? And you know what? It's actually a pretty good deal at face value, because listen, Trey Lance has not played a lot of football. He's been injured. You know what I mean? He's a guy who has not really lived up to his draft status, right? He was a former top 5 pick. Hey, what's up with you, Freight Train? Appreciate you tapping in and showing love to the channel, my guy. So yeah, he's a former top 5 pick, man. You know what I'm saying? He's a damn good prospect, and he has not played a lot of football. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I'm gonna go take a look at his career snaps. I don't think he even played that much football, to be honest with you. Yeah, Trey Lance has played in shit. How many games has Borden played? I mean, he only played in 4 games. He started 4 games, man. He's 2-2. Now he does not have great overall numbers. You know, there's numbers that are very comparable to Cooper Rush, 54.9 completion percentage. No, Cooper Rush had like a 59, 5 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. You know, which is the same as what Cooper Rush ended with after his 5-game stretch with us. So he has very comparable numbers to Cooper Rush, actually. You know what I mean? Said Eastside Harris said the Texans are interested in Hooker. He's a good quarterback, bro. I said they people knock quarterbacks for crazy things. Like, I don't care you're 25. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because there's no guarantee. Because listen, if you're 25 right now and there's quarterbacks playing into their 40s, you know what I mean? Like, I could still realistically have this guy around for the next 15 years. You know, he might be a quarterback that plays till he's 40. He might be a quarterback that only plays till he's 37. Either way, you still get 12 years of a good quarterback if that's the case, right? You know, 12 years is long enough for you to try put a Super Bowl winning team around a guy. 12 years is long enough. So even if he's 25 and you only think he can come in and play 12 years, 13 years, like, shit, that's fine. If you're getting top level quarterback play for those 12 or 13 years, you won. You won. You know, there are guys that play multiple years. You know what I'm saying? They don't even give you, 4 or 5 years of good quarterback play. So if Trey works out, you can get him on a good deal and continue to build around him and keep your top players. Yes, if that were the case, you know what I mean? So it's a possibility. And, it gives the Dallas Cowboys a player with a name. It get the Dallas Cowboys a player with a high pedigree. And at the bare minimum, right, you will feel more comfortable with Trey Lance playing an extended time if Dak Prescott gets hurt, over Cooper Rush. So at least Trey Lance as an aspect of a runner. He's younger, he has more upside. So I can realistically see the Dallas Cowboys, getting a guy like Trey Lance or getting a prospect like Hendon Hooker to try and get some leverage in a contract negotiation with Dak Prescott. The only thing I would say, though, is I don't necessarily see how it gives them real leverage because, like I said, regardless of what happens, right, this year, regardless of what happens, Dak Prescott could play like an MVP, and then it's a mute point. You're going to give him an extension, right? If he plays at the MVP level this year, you give him an extension, you sleep good at night. Now, if he doesn't, you still give him an extension to cut down that $59.4 million cap hit, and you re-sign Trayvon Diggs and CD Lamb and all those other guys, and you still sleep good at night. So really, like, I don't really foresee a scenario where Dak Prescott doesn't get extended. Like, from my viewpoint, I think it's the right thing. I do think he'll have a good year, but at the same token, I can see a scenario when the Dallas Cowboys do something crazy like that. And I really feel personally, we were a couple of plays away from beating the 49ers. You know what I mean? It came down to the wire for the second year in a row. So I don't want to blow up a team or use high level draft capital when I need a couple of more good players. You know what I mean? Hey, Jameson, you out, my guy? Appreciate you, my boy. Thank you for tapping in and showing love. Hey, T Smooth, what's up with you, brother? Yeah, and this is the thing too. Like, Trey Lance still has about 3 years left on his contract, so you'll have Trey for the next 3 years. If you want to keep him around, you can give him an extension as well. And it's not a bad idea to upgrade the quarterback position, the backup quarterback position. Cause I know for a fact that Cooper Rush over a 17 game period is not going to get me to a Super Bowl. You know what I mean? Like I seen the best of Cooper Rush, and he was completing like 50 something% of his passes. We had a bottom tier offense, all these other different things. So I seen Cooper Rush. I'm not comfortable, if Dak Prescott gets hurt, that Cooper Rush can go out there and do that again. I have more faith in the unknown than Trey Lance, being a former top pick coming in here and giving me something that I do Cooper Rush. And since Dak Prescott has missed at least one game for the past 3 seasons, it does make sense to have a better quality backup around him. Yeah, we'll see how that works out. Like I said, like even if they don't, what I'm saying, I just don't want them to have to blow up the entire team to try to send a message, right? Because sometimes it comes to the point like either A, you believe in Dak Prescott and you give him an extension, right? Or B, I don't want to lose CD Lamb. I don't want to lose Trayvon Diggs. I don't want to lose Michael Parsons. So I still give Dak Prescott an extension, because I can't do anything with his contract. So again, Dak Prescott, that's why I say he's a made man in Dallas. He holds all the cards. And from a positive standpoint, I do think he'll play well. It's going to be a very quarterback friendly offense. It's going to be a lot of quick hitting passes, 3-step drops, 5-step drops, a lot of play action. They're going to marry that with a running game. He has better skill position players, so I think he'll have a good season. So that's all we can really ask for is him to have a good season, and just make it easier because he doesn't necessarily have to win a Super Bowl to. He doesn't necessarily have to win a Super Bowl to earn a contract, right? If he plays at the MVP level, if he makes an All-Pro selection, if they go to an NFC Championship game and he plays well, like I still can see him getting a contract. Or if he wins an MVP or something crazy like that, and he puts up good production in the playoffs and they lose a shootout because defense didn't show up, I can see that scenario too. I see too many scenarios where he gets an extension. There's way too many scenarios where he gets an extension over when he doesn't. Just from the mathematics behind it. Take how you feel about Dak Prescott out of it. It's just good. It's just good business sense to get this out the way. John Cofield, what's up? Because you have a better chance of getting out of his contract with an extension. You know what I mean? It may not be immediately, but you can build in and out. Oh, Michael Parsons might be the first $30 million edge rusher. If he has another 13 sack season, makes another All-Pro team, he'll have 3 consecutive All-Pro selections, 3 consecutive 13 sack seasons, and he's still going to be hella young. Like, Michael Parsons might be the first $30 million edge rusher. Like, take that to the bank, bro. Hey, what's up with you, John? I appreciate you tapping in with me, man. Hey, quick update on the raffle, though. Real quick update on the raffle. Just so everybody knows they're bearing where they stand, because I like to keep everybody updated since they've been supporting. Regina Green is still leading the way. She has 20 entries for this raffle for the Super Bowl for the Dallas Cowboy jersey. So she had the best odds of winning. Dwayne Brown has 19 entries. He has the second best odds of winning the raffle. DC for Life has 13 entries. He has the third best odds of winning the raffle. So those are the top people to have. Those are the 3 people with the best chances. But remember, everybody that sends at least $5 has a chance of winning the jersey. So even one entry, you can mess around and win. So if you want to participate, just send $5 to $Hennythemoor. All right, now that that's out the way, we can return to our regular scheduled programming. Michael Parsons is a damn good player. Trayvon Diggs is a damn good player. CD Lamb is a damn good player. Those are 3 All-Pro level players, right? You don't want to lose many of them. Any of them. I don't want to lose Trayvon Diggs. I don't want to lose. Hey, shout out to my boy Freight Train for the $10 donation. That got you 2 more entries into the raffle. And now you have, because I got you down here, Freight Train. You got 6 entries now. Salute. So you still got damn good odds to win it, my brother. He said Dak has no reason to rush anything. He's getting paid $100 million the next 2 years. Stephen Jones needs to make him happy and hope he will be nice this time instead of passing him off. Dak need to say in it and everything. And it's the thing, like that's why I said Dak Prescott has all the leverage. Like I said, rain, sleet, or snow, he's gonna get his money. And if they play with Dak Prescott and they drag this contract out, you risk losing Trayvon Diggs, you risk losing CD Lamb, you risk, you really risk losing Michael Parsons, because if the edge rusher market balloons while you're trying to work out Dak Prescott's contract, then he might price his way out of Dallas too. So and listen, business wise and team building wise, the best way to keep this conglomerate of talent together for a prolonged period of time is to give Dak Prescott his extension. Right, you will save so much money. You can re-sign all 3 of your All-Pro players. Right, even if that means extending Dak Prescott. And remember, y'all think that Dak Prescott needs good talent around him. Well, the way to make sure that Dak Prescott keeps and gets even better talent around him is to give him an extension, because it lowers his cap hit. He gonna have lower cap hits for at least the first 3 years of that contract. Because put this into perspective, the current contract that Dak Prescott signed is worth $40 million annually. Right, it averages out to about $40 million annually. Well, Dak Prescott has never cost the Dallas Cowboys $40 million against the cap yet. You remember, first year of the deal, $17 million. Second year of the deal, $19 million. This year, thanks to a restructure, $26 million. Right, so he has had very cap friendly hits the last 3 seasons. Dak Prescott has had very cap friendly hits these past 3 seasons. That's why you were able to trade for Brandon Cooks. That's why that's why you can extend these guys. So just do it again. Just do it again. Because if you extend Dak Prescott, you'll have money to pay CD Lamb. You'll have money to pay Trayvon Diggs. You have money to pay Michael Parsons. It's simple team building. I don't want the Dallas Cowboys to overcomplicate this. I need them to understand the market is what the market is. He does not think that they keep Diggs. I think that Al Harris really likes Diggs, though. You know what I mean? And this is the thing. Like, there's no guarantee how long Dan Quinn himself will be here. Like, you don't let Trayvon Diggs walk, and there's no guarantee that Dan Quinn will be your defensive coordinator. The next couple of years. Like, Dan Quinn might get hit with a mafia offer that might make him an offer somewhere that he can't refuse. It's really unrealistic for Dan Quinn to be here after next year. I know we say this every damn offseason, and he somehow ends up back on the coaching staff. But no, the more years that pass and the better the defense plays, the less likely it is for Dan Quinn to remain behind and be a defensive coordinator. You know what I mean? And he says he loves it here. He says that he would like to stay here. Everybody says that shit. You know what I mean? Like, there comes to a certain point in time where his wife gonna look at him upside the head. He gonna turn down too much money, and so like when you're a man, a husband, a father, a leader of your household, sometimes you ain't gonna keep turning down the money. Eventually he's gonna take one of these nice ass head coaching gigs, especially if it's in a area where he has more control, good quality of living, things like that. And I think eventually Dan Quinn finds his way outside of Dallas. So I wouldn't want to, task him into drafting a cornerback for us a year from now, right? Because I don't think they'll spend a pick on a corner this draft. There's a possibility he may not even be here for the next draft to pick the future cornerback. I can see Stephen Jones trying to sell fans on Bland. If we don't sign Trey, don't expect any other top free agents to sign here. that will be 2 years in a row. Stephen Jones F over a star defender. I mean, yeah, because Trayvon Diggs do not grow on trees. You know, he has the most interceptions since coming into this NFL. Over the last 3 years, he has the most interceptions. He's made an all-pro team. He made 2 Pro Bowl selections. You know, he had his best season as a tackler, and he really has improved year to year to year. You know, he was better year 2 than he was as a rookie, and he was better year 3 than he was as a sophomore. Even though he didn't have the interceptions, he was a better coverage corner, right? He didn't give up too many touchdowns or too much yardage. So he has improved every year. He's still very young. He's still learning the position. So I wouldn't want to move on from a proven commodity for a rookie. I never like doing that. The Diggs contract really scares me when it comes to Dollar Bill Jones because he let Byron Jones walk. Yeah, he did let Byron Jones walk. You know what I mean? But at the same token, Byron Jones never played at the level that Trayvon Diggs played at. And you know, in 2020 hindsight, it was the right decision to let Byron Jones walk. Give him 4-year extension, $220 million, $55 million a year with $215 guaranteed. That's a damn good contract. Now, who is this for? Which contract is this for? Dak Prescott? Okay, yeah, that would be a good extension. That would be a damn good extension. Hey, what's up with you, Neil? I appreciate you stopping to the liquor store and showing love, my guy. Thank you for tapping in. And remember, if you slap the shit out of an Eagles fan, man, you will get a discount off of all items at the store. So please use the your discount expeditiously. But yeah, like I can see that happening. And you know, people hear extensions, they hear the money. You know, all we really need to care about is the cap hit. Right? All we really need to care about is the cap hit. Because they give him a 4-year extension now, right? Then that's 5 years that Dak Prescott will be here. But that's actually 6 extra years, right? If they give him an extension tomorrow, right? It'll be this year, the following year, then the next 4 years of the deal. You can move a whole bunch of cap money around doing it right there. If you wait, if you wait till next offseason and give him an extension, then you'll control this. You'll have Dak Prescott for the next 5 years. But either way, that would be a good extension because you can move a lot of cap money around. You can lower the cap hits for at least the first 3 years. It'll be a beautiful thing. You'll be able to sign all the players you like. You'll be able to go out and get a couple free agents if you want to. Like, it'll be lovely in Dallas. Like, the only way the Cowboys mess this up is if they don't extend Dak Prescott. Hey, Demetrius Adams, what's up with you, man? I appreciate you tapping into the liquor store, showing love. We up here getting drunk on this content, man. We talk about some scenarios around Dak Prescott, the quarterback position, the money, what it means to not extend him, what it means if you do extend him. For anybody that's late coming in, Dak Prescott will make $59.4 million next year. We know he cannot be traded. We know he cannot be cut because even if you wait to cut him, you're going to have $61 million in dead money over the next 3 years for him not to be on your team. And then, right, then, you can't tag him again. He's been tagged twice. There's a 44% penalty for tagging a guy a third time, right? So there is no way to cut him, trade him, or do anything else nefarious, in the words of my boy Landlord. So with that said, the only way to save money is to give him an extension. If you extend him, you save between $26 to $40 million. Right? You save between $26 and $40 million, and it allows you to extend Trayvon Diggs. You have enough money to extend CeeDee Lamb, and it'll also give you the opportunity to extend Micah Parsons. So the only way that the Dallas Cowboys mess this up is if they do not give him an extension. Now, I still can see the scenario where they try and bring in a backup quarterback, like maybe a Trey Lance, maybe a Hendon Hooker, maybe one of the guys I looked at in one of my shows, like Dorian Thompson Jr. or Malik Cunningham in the later rounds. You should always be looking to bring in quarterbacks. Yeah, you should offer him a contract as soon as humanly possible. Because we all know what happens if the Dallas Cowboys sit on their hands, right? I bet we can all name the quarterbacks that are finna get extensions. Joe Burrow, who's been to a Super Bowl and an AFC Championship game, has very good production. He's going to get money. Justin Herbert, media darling. Not a lot of playoff success. Well, no playoff success. But, like they are projecting him to be a good quarterback for years to come. He is coming up to get an extension. Lamar Jackson, former MVP, is looking to get an extension. Deshaun Watson, who is going to have a cap hit of over $60 million after this season, is probably going to get extended too for cap purposes. So there's a lot of guys coming up that will change the environment of the quarterback market. The landscape of the quarterback market is going to change. The market is going to balloon. And the only way that Dallas Cowboys can beat it is to go ahead and give Dak Prescott an extension rather than later. Because the last time they waited to give Dak Prescott an extension, the quarterback market went from $30 million to $40 million. Right? It went from $30 million to $40 million. This time, the quarterback market is already trending towards the $50 million range. If they wait too long, it will go from $50 million to $60 million, and that cannot happen. So let's talk about, some draft stuff, because I'm tired of the doom and gloom. This doomsday scenario will be avoided if the Dallas Cowboys do the right thing. If they are Spike Lee and they do the right thing, we don't have to worry about none of this stuff. Just give them an extension, worry about everything else later, because you need the money. You need the money, give them the extension. End of the day. So let's talk about some draft scenarios too. Do y'all want to stay pat? Do y'all want to move up, or do you want to move back? What are y'all? Oh yeah, y'all saw that lightning strike in my. I can't even hold that shit in. My kids came running in, that lightning hit. Oh Jesus! Yeah, it's gonna be a thunderstorm out here, man. But yeah, would y'all rather move up in the draft? Would you rather stay where you at? Do you want to move back? Yeah, that's lightning. We finna have a big thunderstorm in the area. But God is with us. The liquor store does not close. Rain, sleet, or shine. We gonna grind. So we in here. You know what I'm saying? We gonna keep rocking, man. You outside looking at stuff. Then the actual lightning hit. Bruce said stand pat, and that is that is crazy, right? Because Jimmy G signed for $27 million. Nick Foles, who had won the Super Bowl, I don't even think he signed for $30 million. I think Nick Foles signed for 28 or something like that. So you could at least gave him a deal like that, $29 million. I said I wouldn't mind. Oh, CeeDee Lamb just signed his 5th-year tender. Big Santana, you the GOAT. I appreciate you for letting me know that, man. So, hey, hopefully, hold on. That's the first domino to fall, man. So, hopefully they go ahead and get that done, man. Hell yeah. I've been up here doing this show this whole time, man. I wonder if Kinfolk know about this. He probably did a show or something by now. Hopefully he know. I'm sure he knows. Made a video or something. I don't know. Oh, let's call OG West Coast, man. See your cuz know. Yo, what's up with you, Kelvin Hicks? Yeah, he signed his tender, and CD Lamb done signed his 5th year option. He signed his tender, and no.
Hello.
Hey, did you see it?
Yeah, we just picked up his 5th year option, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I made a video, and I haven't dropped it. I'm making the video, right? I already recorded the video.
See, I knew you were working on it, man. And by the way, you're live in the liquor store. Just say you want to say anything nefarious.
Man, it's maybe just bopping me on a live, and I'm not doing. I mean, I made a slipped up and said some
like, hey, like we'll be back to our regular scheduled programming. You know, we got to move away, bring a commercial in.
Oh yeah. Let me see. I gotta drop my video. But yeah, man, I'm up here dropping these kids off, man. I'm dropping my daughter off at swim, and I got a 2-hour practice with my sons up here. You know what I'm saying? For the flag football. But I mean, yeah, man, like it don't really change anything too much. It just, I mean, if I'm CeeDee Lamb, I mean, it's like you already knew they were gonna do this. I mean, if you weren't like a guy who was expecting to get making 20 to $22 million a year playing wide receiver, I think you would be hella excited about this. But if you're a man who has dreams of making the type of money I know CeeDee Lamb wants to make, I know he's just all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's whatever. You know what I'm saying? This is kind of an obvious move. But I would hope that even though the Cowboys picked up his 5th year option, which is kind of an obvious move because that's what he is. He's a good player. This should have nothing to do with him getting an extension. I don't. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it should fast track it because it makes it even more enticing to go ahead and extend them because you already have the 2 years. You know what this year's going to be. You know you.
By giving him the 5th year option, you also tell CeeDee Lamb at worst case scenario you're worth $18 million a year.
Exactly.
So CeeDee Lamb, it definitely created a floor. You know what I'm saying?
Indeed. And it should be enticing to you to go ahead and give him that extension. Because, like I said, it's going to be real cheap this year. It's only going to be 18 something the next year. Then the extension ain't going to kick into the 3rd year anyway. So you can go ahead and get it out the way before everybody else get paid.
Yeah, and I know the Cowboys going to try to lead us on and try to make it seem like they tried to get it. Man, I don't know. Listen, you don't try to get deals with people in their first deals. This is. It's easier to get someone to take a good deal on their first deal than it is on their second deal because in the first deal, they just decided to get paid a lot of times. So it's hard for me to believe that you're not able to get a deal when you're giving him money that's changed the way he thinks about and view life. You know what I mean?
Indeed.
It's hard for you to believe that it's hard for you to get deals with guys doing that.
Man, what? This kind of money, you ain't going to eat in the same spots no more, boy.
Right. That's what I'm saying. This type of money, you ain't using the same freaking do-rag no more, bro.
You should have said do-rag. Yeah, man. You see the Medusa head? This do-rag was made by Versace, my boy. Yeah, that's that money.
So yeah, man. I don't foresee. I still foresee the Cowboys getting a deal with him because, man, you still gotta do something with Micah. You still gotta do something with Diggs. But I mean, for CeeDee Lamb, about them to know that the Cowboys want to give him at least $19 million. They're okay giving him $19 million a year for sure.
Hell yeah, they better be okay with that because that's damn sure gonna be the floor.
Yeah, but he also has to one thing too though he got to do too is he got to understand that this is good. This is life changing money. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money, but you can get generational money. You know what I'm saying? So don't get caught up in that $18 million. Any money that somebody's willing to give you off the Russell, they'll probably give you more. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, shit. And they set it up just like that too. And hey, we were actually doing a show. On this show, we were talking a little bit more in depth about the Dak Prescott situation. And you saved between $26 and $40 million by giving Dak Prescott an extension. So even for the people that are Dak Prescott detractors, don't think about it as giving Dak Prescott an extension. Think about it as the Dallas Cowboys keeping Michael Parsons, keeping CeeDee Lamb, and keeping Trayvon Diggs.
Yeah, because it will actually come down to one of that.
Exactly. So like you can keep all.
And it won't be because players are greedy. It's going to be because the Joneses didn't do it right.
Exactly. There's proper protocol in proceeding with business practices, and the Dallas Cowboys do not always do the right thing. Just like I be talking about in math. Remember, PEMDAS, orders of operations. You got to do this first, then do that. Like the Dallas Cowboys, they be trying to subtract before they add.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I will say is this, man. The Cowboys are definitely spending money. I don't want to hear nobody talking about the Cowboys. They spending money. They just spending money on the things they want to spend the money on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And if you notice, they're okay with spending future money. They're not really trying to spend money right now on things right now. So that lets me know any type of incoming free agent. I would be hard for me to think that the Cowboys would want to bring in somebody else. So a D-Hop or something like that, I think that's out of the question.
I think so too.
I think it was already out of the question.
Yeah, because the moment they traded for Brandon Cooks, I knew they wasn't going to double dip. Not with the draft coming.
Nah, me neither. But yo, man, I can get these kids to practice, man. I'm interested. Let me drop out here, man, so I can get them up in here, man.
All right, it's a bet, cuz. I appreciate you tapping in, man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that was West Coast and his thoughts on the CeeDee Lamb getting his 5th-year option picked up. And I feel the same way, man. I think it's the first stepping stone, and then hopefully getting an extension done with him, because now the next however many years for CeeDee Lamb will be relatively cheap for his position. This year, matter of fact, let me pull up the money for CeeDee Lamb, right? Because I want y'all to see if they go ahead and get the extension done this offseason. I want y'all to see what that money looks like, right? CeeDee Lamb contract, booyah. So, hold on, finna get it loaded up. All right, now I'm finna share the screen with y'all. So as you see, this year, CeeDee Lamb's cap hit is going to be $4.4 million. The following year is going to be $19.7 million, right? Because they picked up, it says club, excuse me, because they picked up his 5th-year option, right? So that's what that would be. But for the next 2 years, you're only paying CeeDee Lamb combined about $25 million for the next 2 years, right? Combined for his services. If you go ahead and give him an extension, you can still move money around and lower some of these cap hits, right? If you give him a 5-year extension, odds are, the first couple of years on that extension are still going to be under $20 million. As you know, the wide receiver market, if you want a good starting wide receiver, it's about $20 million in this league. So even if he makes APY like 26, 27, something like that, the first couple of years, because they're able to manage the cap hits, will be under $20 million a year. So you'll have him for the next 4 years. You have him for the next 4 or 5 years. If you go ahead and give him an extension, right? If you count the 2 years he's currently under, for under $20 million, you go ahead and give him an extension. If we're just talking about timing, if we're just talking about the timing of it, this is the perfect time to go ahead and give CeeDee Lamb an extension. This is the perfect time to go ahead and give him an extension. You already got the 5th-year option picked up. Anything else, coming after that is still going to be a bargain. CeeDee Lamb is an all-pro level wide receiver. Second team all-pro just last year. So if you're able to get him for under $20 million the next 4 or 5 years, right, just by giving him the extension, the bigger cap hits coming at the last part of his contract, you are winning. You are winning because you're able to pay him. You're also able to manage your cap, add other players, And you're gonna hear a common theme when I talk about extensions, right? I always like comparing extensions to financing a car. I'm not gonna go to the dealership and give them 59 grand up front for this Camaro. I want the Camaro. I love the Camaro, but you finna give about 8 bands today. My credit good enough. I'm gonna give you about 8 bands. I'm gonna finance it for the next 5 or 6 years. I'm gonna make monthly payments on it. Same thing with these contract extensions. $100 million deal, yes, but I'm not paying him $100 million for one season. I'm going to pay him $100 million and some change over the next 5 years. And I want to pay a couple lump sums at the back. So I'm gonna pay him about 16 this year, pay about 17 this year, about 19 this year, but then the last couple of years about 30 and whatever. You know what I mean? But because I'm not paying that much the first couple of years, I'm able to put my money in other places, make these other investments. I can invest in this linebacker. I can invest in this second wide receiver. I can invest in this O-line because I don't have all my money tied up. I'm just paying this little bit right now, and they're gonna get the rest later. So that's why I love these contract extensions. For the most part, they're cap friendly for the majority of the contract. Hey, what's up with you, Dwayne Brown? What's good, my brother? Since you are just now joining the show, I just wanted to tap in. Hey, Daisy Clark, what's good with you? I appreciate you tapping in and showing love to the liquor store. If y'all can hear that right now, right? That is the storm going on outside. But rain, sleet, or snow, man, it doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? Rain, sleet, or shine, we're gonna be out here on the grind. So the liquor store is open. Y'all come in. We rocking. But for everybody that's late coming in, we talked about Dak Prescott extension. We talked about the quarterback market, and we talked about the possibilities of the Dallas Cowboys looking for other backup quarterbacks. Right? We know that Dak Prescott cannot be traded. We know he cannot be tagged again. He's been tagged twice. The penalty for tagging him a third time is a 44% increase on his cap. And we know we can't cut him because even if you designate him as a June 2nd cut, is a $61 million in dead money. So you're stuck with Dak Prescott. But if you extend him, regardless of what happens, you do save in between $26 and $40 million, depending on how the Dallas Cowboys structure the contract. So you can't do anything with them but extend them. But an extension, you save between $26 and $40 million, and it allows you to extend players like CeeDee Lamb, Trayvon Diggs, and Michael Parsons. And in that same breath, CeeDee Lamb just got his 5th-year option picked up. The time to give him an extension is now, because if you give him an extension, you can guarantee. If you give him a 5-year extension, you can guarantee for the next 5 years, because he's still got 2 years on the contract right now. You can guarantee for the next 5 years that his cap hit is under $20 million. So you really should be trying to extend both of these guys as soon as humanly possible. Hey, shout out to Daisy Clark for the $5 donation. Miss Clark, they got you another entry into the raffle. Right now, Miss Clark, you have, because I know you're up here. All right, you have 3 entries in the raffle, Miss Clark. Dwayne Brown, just to give you an update, you have 19 entries, so you're the second best odds of winning the raffle behind Regina Green. So salute to y'all for participating and showing love. Yeah, it's raining hard as hell right now, man. It's raining super hard right now. But yeah, it makes sense to go ahead and actually get all these extensions done, because realistically, if you extend Dak Prescott, that's all the money you need to get these other extensions done. The money that you save. Hey, what's up with your DC for life? I appreciate you tapping in and showing love, my boy. You got the third best odds of winning the draft. I said winning the draft. I must be ready to take my ass to the draft, man. What it do? Yeah, this is the perfect time for CD. Yeah, because you picked up his 5th-year option. It's going to be about $19 million. But extension, a 5-year extension, it's maybe $110, $112 million deal, something like that. You can move the cap hits around. The first 2 years on the deal are already under $20 million. It's like $4 million this year, $19 million next year. And then the extension will kick in. And the first 3 years of the extension will probably be under $20 million as well, with the way that they usually structure these deals. Hey, shout out to Daisy Clark for another for another entry. My trip she sent 2 times. No, my phone just be wilding. Okay. It just told me 2 times that you did it. Okay. So you're still at the same spot. All right, but like I was saying though, you can pretty much guarantee that your cap hits for CeeDee Lamb will be under $20 million the next 5 seasons if you give him an extension right now. You know, that's the cheat code. Like it can say on paper he makes whatever, but because you're giving him an extension, you know that his cap hit will be under $20 million the next 5 seasons. The first 3 years of the extension should be under $20 million. You know, that's how they usually are constructed. And then the current 2 years on his contract are under $20 million. And that's arguing for an all-pro wide receiver. And the only thing you got to do to ensure you can do it is extend Dak Prescott because he's a top 10 quarterback. So you'll be fine. Just give the guys the extension. Giving Dak Prescott extension gives you all the wiggle room you need for the other extension. So you're good. HTN, who do y'all want if I win the draft? If you win the draft, man, you know, go with your heart. You pick the best player you believe, man. We're going to trust you. Stephen White, what's up with you, my brother? Yeah, man, I must be wanting to go to the draft super bad. I done said win the draft like 30 times. And hopefully the Dallas Cowboys do win the draft, man. Hopefully the Dallas Cowboys go out their way or able to win the draft because this is going to be important for our team building moving forward. You know, for our team building moving forward, I can definitely see them needing to do so. We got a couple of holes in our team that need to be filled. You know, we maybe need another linebacker, maybe need a run stopper in the middle, might need another offensive lineman or wide receiver. But you know, at the grand scheme of things, I'm really happy with the way our roster is currently constructed. You know, Henny, what state are you in? I am technically in Texas. I'm originally from Arkansas, and even the place where I live, Texarkana, is a twin city. So one side is Arkansas, one side is Texas, but I live on the Texas side right now. Hey, happy 420, Stephen White. Please participate and partake for me. You see, I'm stormed in, so y'all hear it out there. That's what's going on. He said he's smoking in the liquor store. Hey, as long as we smoking Eagles fans, it doesn't even matter. If they don't extend Dak and they end up drafting the QB, does that tell us how they feel about Dak remaining with the team for the future? Possibly, maybe. Oops. You know what? I'm going to unplug this just in case because there was a little power surge. I might have just gotten a little darker, but yeah, I unplugged my light because it went out by itself. I don't want it to fry out in the storm. So if I got a little darker, y'all please forgive me. But yeah, it just really depends, man. Because they could draft Dak Prescott. They could draft the quarterback for leverage. You know what I mean? Any leverage with Dak Prescott with the way his contract is structured. You know, they like. In years past, they used to try and manufacture leverage. There's not really any leverage they would have. And really picking at number 26, I don't necessarily think there's a quarterback there that can even realistically challenge Dak Prescott for the starting spot. Because you got to think about it, there's probably going to be like 4 quarterbacks taken before we draft. The 5th best quarterback in this year's draft is not going to replace Dak Prescott. Because and listen, put this in perspective. CJ Stroud, who is either the best or the second best quarterback in this year's draft, is being comped to Dak Prescott. His comparable NFL comp is Dak Prescott. So if the guy who is supposed to be the best quarterback in this draft ceiling is Dak Prescott, who is currently on our team, it makes no sense to draft the quarterback high. And you put that into perspective. You know what I mean? Like, why draft Dak Prescott when you got Dak Prescott? No, this my train of thought. The thunderstorm is definitely an Eagles fan. Is definitely hating on Dak, on me and Dak Prescott. Yeah, that is true. We didn't think that Dak Prescott would replace Tony Romo either. So there is a nice way to put it, Tariq. And I appreciate you for coming to the liquor store too, man. We missed you. I ain't seen you around, my guy. I thought an Eagles fan that kidnapped you or something, but I'm glad you're back. I don't want to see Dak go anywhere either. And if he stay healthy, I think he'll play well. You know what I mean? He got good weapons this year. He got what is supposed to be a good offensive play caller and a good scheme, so he should play well. So we shouldn't have to worry about it. I think Dennis. Yeah. I like the way that he plays. I actually had did a damn show about him. Say, do you live close to that store that has all the different weird name drinks? It's been years ago since I've been there. Don't remember the name of it. Had drinks like WD-40, different kinds. LOL. I don't know. Are you talking about the bottle shop? You have to elaborate for me because we got a bunch of liquor stores down here. Because there's the bottle shop, there's the party factory. There's a bunch of liquor stores down here. I'm in Fort Worth. It is raining hard. It's raining hard here too, man. Like it's raining cats and dogs. Like I think a cat hit the house. It said I want Dak to win MVP and Super Bowl so we can shut these Dak haters up. Yeah, man. I want Dak to win everything, man. I want him to beat the shit out of the Eagles. I want him to win MVP. I want him to win Super Bowl MVP. If there's a player out there in the league that deserves it, it's Prescott, man. He done been through a lot. They've been through adversity, injury, lost a family, lost his mama, lost his brother. So like, hell, I'm rooting for the boy. I'm rooting for the boy. But yo, I'm actually finna go ahead and get off here. Cause I'm gonna go find some candles and shit before I get real in here. So I appreciate y'all for tapping in. I gave y'all about an hour and 22 of some exclusive Dallas Cowboy content. I will be live, later on. I gotta make some calls, find some candles, do this and do that, just in case the storm gets a little bit worse. So y'all be blessed. Y'all be safe. One love. Remember, I always tell y'all to drink and drive responsibly. But if you see an Eagles fan, please run their ass over. Salute, man. I'll get at y'all.